All right, sorry, trying to get used to StreamYard here. Haven't used this platform yet. All right, so let me share my screen here. Chrome tab, let's do this here. All right, so today we will be talking about the need for multi-chain support for global mass adoption here. Hello, everyone. My name is Bobby Pham. I'm currently the CMO at KardiaChain here. We are the track owner sponsoring the NFT GameFi Metaverse category here. All right. So I'll get a little bit more about who we are here, but let's get into the topic of the day here. Hopefully, I won't take too much of you guys' time here, so I'll try to get to the most important aspects of this argument here. So why are we talking about multi-chain support here? Well, recently, Vitalik, the founder of Ethereum, posted a semi-controversial statement talking about why the future will be multi-chain, not cross-chain. He believes that there are inherent security risks associated with, cross-chain support, which is pretty much bridges through bridges right now. So essentially, he doesn't really believe in the future of cross chains because of the inherent security risk that bridges bring here, right? So his future is that his belief is that the future will be dominated by just multi chains here. So I don't 100% agree with this, but we'll, for the sake of today's topic, stick to just the multi chain topic. So why will the future be multi chain? Let's create a visual mental framework to think about this first as we dive into this topic here. Let's think about cell phone networks. All right. Now, in the US here, I'm currently based in Vietnam. I haven't been in the US, but when I was in the US, these are the primary dominant mobile networks in the US here. Now, if you ever notice that when you're on your cell phone here, despite whatever cell phone network they're using, you can easily send your WhatsApp messages or your Facebook Messenger messages to any other phone here, right? It doesn't matter if the user is using, AT&T network or T-Mobile. Your phone can communicate to all these different networks seamlessly, without any issues. You don't have to make any changes. You have to do anything to talk to these users here, right? Now, I was using AT&T, I think at first, initially, it was my first major cell phone plan that I used. I lived on the East Coast here, so they had really good affordable plans. They had some nice features, and they had the most coverage for users on the East Coast, which is why I signed up with them. Now, T-Mobile was more popular on the West Coast, so if I lived on the West Coast here, I probably would have signed up with them. Google Fi has nice features. It's actually what I use now. They have nice features for international travelers here. So that's why I use them here. You don't have to change SIM cards when you're traveling, so you can always keep your same phone number. But really the point, what I'm highlighting here is that all these different networks have their own different customers, and their customers all signed up with them or use their network for whatever reasons, being, coverage on a certain location or certain unique features that are inherently useful for that customer, right? Having multiple mobile networks contributed to the global mass adoption of cell phone usage, right? You don't know anyone that doesn't use a cell phone here. You don't know anyone that doesn't, or you don't hardly know anyone that doesn't know how to use send a WhatsApp message or Facebook Messenger here, right? So now let's use this mobile framework. Let's use this framework here, the idea that knowing that the future has that currently we have multiple different mobile networks, which is why we have a mass adoption. One of the reasons why we have mass adoption of cell phones. Let's use this framework and apply it to multi-chains. All right. So if we take the same picture earlier and change the mobile networks with different blockchains, well, this is what the future is going to look like. Much like how right now we have multiple different mobile networks. The future is going to have multiple blockchains. In fact, that's already happening here, right? And the future is going to be that so that each of these blockchains can easily communicate with each other, right? All of these different blockchains have their own user base and their own strengths. And your users use those blockchains for their own strengths, and features. And each user, whether they be on Ethereum or BNB Chain or Polygon or CELO, will be able to communicate or send assets easily to each other, whether it be through cross-chain support features or multi-chain support features, or features that support multi-chain. But essentially, this is what the future will be. It's not going to be one chain that rules them all or one dominant chain, but multiple different chains here. All right. Well, how do we create this future, right? What can we do to create this future? This is really what we want to talk about today here, right? This is what we need if we want global mass adoption. So let's use another visualization to understand how our current chains interact with each other. All right. So let's imagine that each blockchain is its own highway. All right. So now we're going to take these blockchains. Let's pretend Ethereum is its own highway, BNB Chain on its highway, etc. Right. So if I want to take my assets, historically, if I wanted to take my assets and put it over to BNB Chain, well, if I'm on the highway here, I have to get off the exit. I have to take some different turns here and I have to get on this highway here, right? So imagine, historically, you have to take your Ethereum assets. You have to go to some type of centralized exchange, sell it, change it to BNB assets, and then you can get to the BNB chain here, right? So again, if we're using the highway example, you're driving on a highway, you on these different highways, you got to get off an exit, take a couple of different turns, then you can on the new highway. Essentially, the idea is you have to take multiple different steps if you want to change, travel to these different highways, take your assets to these different highways. So how did we more easily transfer assets to different chains? This is where cross-chain support came in, interoperability. All right. So now if we want to take our assets and move it over, we have bridges now that exist here, right? The Ethereum bridge. There's Ethereum bridges that allow us to transfer assets from Ethereum to BNB chain back to Ethereum, Polygon to Ethereum, etc. But essentially, this is the future that we're looking to create, is a way to, well, it already exists, but we want to further improve the ability to move assets easily across different blockchains here, right? Now, the primary way we are supporting cross-chain support nowadays is through bridges. So when we talk about how to move assets across different chains, either we create an infrastructure, multi-chain. Well, first we create cross-chain support where literally assets can move across blockchains, or we create an infrastructure where we support multiple different chains where there's different ways outside of just bridges to move assets around. But anyways, before I don't want to get too far into that, let's stick to the topic at hand. Cross-chain support, mostly done through bridges right now. But there is a big risk with bridges here. Security. Right. Recently, the Wormhole token bridge lost $300 million in the biggest hack this year. Right. So, as we look at, let's go back to this picture here, as assets are moving on these bridges here, well, there is a risk, right? As these assets are moving, hackers try to target these bridges here. And this is when these hacks happen. So this is why we want to explore different solutions or different ideas when we try to create this multi-chain future. Yes, so this is why it's important to create the support for multi-chain infrastructure to accelerate mass adoption, because cross-chain support isn't enough here. All right, but what if there was a solution that already existed? All right, well, hey, CardiaChain here, right? So we at CardioChain, we envision a future where multiple different chains exist as well. In fact, we were created in 2018, and this is the future that we saw. This is what we thought back then as we were, putting together our white paper and our thesis here. Right, we want to be the chain that connects multiple different chains here, right? So you can see here, in order, actually right now we're currently compatible with all the major EVM compatible chains, which is, you can see them all. These are all the major EVM compatible chains here. But essentially through us, we want to be the one that unite and connect all the different blockchains here, right? Who is CardiaChain? Well, you might have heard of us from Thetan Arena, computed Thetan Arena, launched back in, I think, October 21 was when the IDO was. Or the IGO, I guess, was 23 billion users, 1 million NFT holders. Another big game we did was My DeFi Pet, which I think was around 12 million TVL right now. I think 7.3 million transactions to date. So these are some of the bigger projects that we were that we've had some success with. You can check out our Explorer here. So actually, we'll check that out really quick. I'll share this. Oh, actually, I think let me go to share this tab. All right. So yeah, this is what you see when you go to the Explorer here. You can see right now we've had 35 million transactions to date, a little under 500,000 wallets here. All right, so I think let's go back to this tab here. So yeah, so feel free to check out Explorer if you want to check out our blockchain here. But CardiaChain was one of the first major interoperable self-optimized blockchain infrastructures here. We were the first one in Southeast Asia, the biggest one in Southeast Asia. In fact, we're the national blockchain in Vietnam here. And then we were also first globally to be one of the first interoperable blockchains globally. We, like many other projects, are trying to solve the same thing: fragmentation of different blockchain ecosystems. Our goal, our vision, our mission is to create a unified platform, a unified infrastructure that combines the collective strengths of all the different blockchains to lay the foundation for global mass adoption of blockchain tech, right? Because this is really the theme here, is global mass adoption of blockchain tech. Much like mobile networks have, all their different strengths and features, and they're all connected to each other, which allows for a mass adoption of cell phone usage. This is the future we're looking to create as well with blockchain tech. Here's our core team members here, right? So this is pretty much the exact kind of core teams here. This is not the greatest picture of mine. The suit doesn't fit me, but anyways, here are our core team members here to get an idea. I always like to show visuals of who we are. I think our actual team here, is around a little over close to 16 out here. So I just wanted to list the core members here. Let's talk a little bit about the CardioChain technology today here. So we had this approach, what we call a non-invasive approach, integration without assimilation approach, right? So we don't require blockchains to adapt to us, we adapt to you. So some of the existing infrastructures out there today, let's take Polkadot, for example, where they're parachain relay chains, which they have a great infrastructure for creating MultiChain support. But you do have to make some changes to your blockchain to connect to them. I think Cosmos is the other great protocol out there. I think you have to learn IBC to connect to their blockchain hub. But for us, we like to take a different approach. Again, we like to call it non-invasive, integration without assimilation. We essentially want to make it very easy to connect to us. We don't require you to adapt to us. We adapt to you, right? That's kind of our mindset or our approach here. You can check out our website here at CardiaChain.io, which lists more, does a better job of explaining or goes deeper into explaining some of the tech and some of our features. I'm going to talk a little bit about it here, so I don't have to jump slides. Essentially, I don't have to leave the tab. How is CardiaChain providing support for multi-chain infrastructure? Well, we want to create an infrastructure that allows multiple chains to connect and communicate to each other, right? Essentially, we are creating an infrastructure. We've created an infrastructure that allows multiple chains to connect and communicate with each other, right? So if you take a look at this picture here, this is CardiaChain at the center here, and these are the different blockchains that are connected here, chain A, chain B, etc. here. Now, how are these chains connected to each other? Well, they connect to us. How do we connect to these chains? Well, we have this technology called dual node bridge here, right? We're running two transactions simultaneously on two separate transactions on two separate chains at the same time through this bridge here, right? So again, you just simply have to connect to our bridge adapts, or our bridge adapts to you, and therefore then you are connected into the system here, right? So a good way to try to, let's see, I don't know how this image here next. A good way to try to visualize this is like a body, like a human body, right? So actually cardia stands for heart in Greek, right? So if you think about the heart powers the body, right? The heart powers the body by sending blood through veins to all the different organs, right? So if you imagine CardiaChain being the heart of the body here, and all the different blockchains being different organs, and the organs have their own functions and processes and needs, and CardiaChain is the one that supplies and powers all these different organs here, right? So through CardiaChain, You can power different organs here, right? And you can see, if you want to take this a little bit step further, like your stomach is where you process your energy and food and substance. And then that gets turned into essentially energy for you or blood. And then I guess that goes back to the veins here, and the heart, sends all that information all over the place through this kind of connected blockchain network. Multi-chain support. Remember, this is the future. We want to create multiple different chains here. All right. So CardiaChain uses Ksml, which is the Cardia Smart Contract Markup language here. Here's a little bit more details about what Ksml is. Essentially, it was designed to be an easy tool, an easy language for developers to learn here. It's actually very similar to JavaScript, or I think XML or JavaScript. But essentially, if you're a Web 2 developer, or if you know Solidity, or if you know C++, it is really easy for you to learn Ksml, right? In short, you won't have to learn multiple languages to build on multiple chains. If you learn Ksml and if you build on CardiaChain, you automatically have access to the other chains here, right? So again, CardioChain makes it, our goal is to make it as easy as possible to connect different chains here. We adapt to them, you don't adapt to us, right? And if you just learn one single language, you learn KSML through us, you only have to learn how to build on us, then you can connect to all the different chains here. All right, so why build on CardioChain? Well, first, save time and energy. Again, learn one language, KSML, build on KRC, you get access to all the other chains. 2, speed and cost savings. 10,000 transactions per second, 5-second block creation time. Fees are pretty much free, 0.0001 cent. Access to Southeast Asian market. So we're the biggest blockchain infrastructure in Southeast Asia, one of the hottest markets right now for GameFi, NFT, and Metaverse right now. Average user here spends 4+ hours on their mobile playing games here. So you get access to the Southeast Asian market through us. Government support. We're based in Vietnam. Vietnam currently is globally #1 in cryptocurrency adoption. And the government has recently requested legal framework to be created around crypto assets here. So here's Ho Chi Minh City. So here, which is where I live here. But yeah, you have government support here in Vietnam. One thing that we just recently created is first GameFi cross-chain NFT marketplace at Gorin. Here you can bring different, here you have the ability to bring assets, NFT assets from different chains here, and you can trade it here on this NFT marketplace. So I'm really just highlighting these different features because I want to show how we are trying to create this multi-chain future here. And lastly, why else? Well, we're offering $60,000, up to $60,000 in prizes for those that build on CardiaChain and BNB Chain here, right? So here we thank you BNB Chain for allowing us to sponsor here, and they've given us opportunity to create additional bounties or additional, incentives here to also build on CardiaChain as well. So if you guys are interested in doing that, well, we're giving out $60,000 worth of prizes among 3 winners in 3 different categories, $20,000 each, right? So if you create a project in the Metaverse track here, including specific topics as, one thing that we really want to explore is decentralized identity, cross-chain transfer and NFT assets, and a social fi in the Metaverse here. Next category will be GameFi. So essentially any kind of GameFi project, could be tools or software to support GameFi development as well. So that's the next category. And then financial NFT. So we really want to use any NFT specialist to generate more flexible financial products, essentially DeFi here, right? So, this is what we're doing as a sponsor here, is offering additional incentives should you want to build on both, BNB and CardiaChain as well. So anyways, as we wrap up here talking about, the need for multi-chain support here, this is the future, right? The future is already happening. We have cross-chain support right now. But you can see here with some of the recent hacks here, we need more. We need more help, in terms of trying to create this future. We cannot rely on just cross-chain support through bridges, even though that technology and that support will probably continue to evolve. But we also want to create multi-chain infrastructures. Here at CardiaChain, again, we are trying to make it super easy to build on our chain. KSML, simple language. We have different products that allow for multi-chain support, or a cross-chain NFT marketplace. We have great support from the government here in Vietnam here. So every step and everything that we're doing here is trying to contribute towards this idea of multi-chain, a future where multi-chains exist so that we can accelerate global mass adoption of this blockchain tech. So let's build this multi-chain future together, and let's accelerate global mass adoption of blockchain technology. So that is all I have today. Thank you everyone for listening to me chat here.